Don Jr. would know how to handle jokes, but I guess not. The only two who've tried to stop me are Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who actually called the cops on me. I control the weather. They would have made sure a house landed directly on you, you demented witch. Marjorie is upset because a hurricane ripped the sleeves off. Trump White House pressured Disney to censor Jimmy Kimmel. Quote, convey the president's anger regarding Kimmel's monologues and jabs. For nothing, I wonder what it was specifically that sparked this, his Trumper. You hide your misogyny and your racism behind your jokes on ABC. This was a dog whistle to the violent left to assault me or worse, and you're misspelled your, of course, already inspiring fantasies of violence against me. How many new death threats will I get that are your conspiracy theories and repeatedly indicated support for executing prominent Democratic politicians? Now she's dialing 911 because she got
breaking. The White House tried to cancel comedy in a twist that'd make the founding fathers facepalm.
How does this even compute? This woman, you may remember, she's the one who endorsed fringe conspiracy theories and repeatedly indicated support for executing prominent Democratic politicians. Any kind of threats against anyone, especially since I get dozens of them a week myself from the sickos who align with you. I also find it very rich that a person who did this in her campaign ad is suddenly whining about fantasies of violence. Now she's dialing 911 because she got made fun of. She's a snowflake and a sociopath at the same time. A snowciopath, as we know from now on.
Trump's team rang up Disney to muzzle Kimmel. But our late-night hero isn't backing down. From disabled reporters to war heroes, Trump's dished it out. Now Kimmel's serving it right back. Want to see a real First Amendment fight? This video's got you covered.
This threat of violence against me by Jimmy Kimmel has been filed with the Capitol Police. By the way, if she's going to report me to the police, if that's how she wants to play it, I'll report you right back. And I won't go to the police. I'll go to the Justice League, okay? Dear, I'm writing about a woman who might be a supervillain. Like the Joker, she thinks she is funny. And like the Penguin, she is 5 foot.
Remember when Trump couldn't get enough of TV? Those days are long gone. Now he's got a beef with late night comedy, especially one Jimmy Kimmel. The host's been roasting Trump like a Mar-a-Lago turkey. And boy, is it spicy. Kimmel's jokes have been hitting Trump where it hurts, right in his ego. He's called Trump everything from President Snowflake to liar in chief. One night, Kimmel quipped, "Trump's so orange, even carrots are asking for his skincare routine." Ouch. But Trump's not laughing. In fact, he's fuming. Picture this. It's 3 a.m. and instead of leading the country, Trump's hunched over his phone, thumbs flying, rage tweeting about unfair comedians. Failing Jimmy Kimmel and not funny are his go-to insults. Real presidential, right?
I have the weirdest life, I really do. Once again, I find myself in the middle of a brouhaha as I appear to have run afoul of probably the worst woman in American politics, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination to the Supreme Court, which is lovely, a lovely thing to say. So I made a joke. I said, where is Will Smith when you need him? What she does instead of working, she tweets. After she saw it, she tweeted, ABC contacts my employer. This threat of violence against me by Jimmy Kimmel has been filed with the Capitol Police.
Kimmel, though, he's just getting warmed up. He hit Trump with this zinger. Trump's so bad at being president, even his hair is trying to escape. Let's not forget the time he said Trump's idea of exercise is walking from the golf cart to the green. As the jokes kept coming, Trump's anger kept growing. It was like watching an orange balloon slowly inflate, just waiting to pop, and pop it did. Trump finally reached his breaking point. He decided Kimmel had to go. No more Mr. Nice Guy, as if he ever was. So what's a thin-skinned president to do? Well, apparently hatch a secret plan to shut Kimmel up. Because nothing says leader of the free world like trying to silence a comedian, right?
Died for, and it's especially hypocritical coming from someone who claims to be the bigliest anti-censorship defender of free speech.
We're here today to discuss protecting Americans from censorship. We will uphold the right of free speech.
We, as a country, cannot tolerate political censorship.
Today I'm directing my administration to explore all regulatory and legislative solutions to protect free speech and the free speech rights of all Americans. We will always protect Free speech. The censorship and bias is a threat to freedom itself. Free speech is a bedrock of American life.
We believe in free speech.
Censorship, free speech.
But here's where it gets really weird. The White House didn't just send a strongly worded letter or tweet. Oh no, they had something much bigger in mind. Something so bizarre, you'd think it came straight out of a badly written political comedy. Stick around, folks. You're about to find out how Mickey Mouse got caught in the crossfire of this late night war. Trust me, it's nuttier than a squirrel's winter stash.
Think of all the people I regularly make fun of. It's a lot of people. The only two who've tried to... You'd think the guy who fathered Eric and Don Jr. would know how to handle jokes, but I guess not.
What do Mickey Mouse and Donald Trump have in common? More than you'd think. It turns out they're both pretty touchy when it comes to jokes. But while Mickey just squeaks when he's upset, Trump tries to get people fired. Talk about an overreaction. So picture this, Trump sitting in the Oval Office, face redder than a sunburned tomato, fuming about Kimmel's latest zingers. His team, probably scared of another Twitter tantrum, comes up with a brilliant plan. And by brilliant, I mean completely bananas. They decide to go straight to the top, Disney. Yes, you heard that right. The White House thought the best way to handle a comedian was to tattle to his boss's boss's boss. Now, you might be wondering, why Disney?
A lot of Democrats are freaking out about this New York Times poll that came out yesterday that showed Trump up by 1% nationally going into the debate. The Trump people were celebrating, which is surprising. I guess the news at the New York Times is only occasionally fake. I don't know why we get so worked up about this stuff. There's nothing scientific about these polls. Hillary Clinton was supposed to win in a landslide according to these polls. From the guy who said the failing New York Times has been wrong about me from the very beginning, said I would lose the primaries, then the general election, fake news.
Well, apparently someone in Trump's circle remembered that ABC, where Kimmel's show airs, is owned by Disney. It's like they were playing 6 Degrees of Mickey Mouse or something. So, in their minds, if they could get Disney on board, they could muzzle Kimmel faster than you can say Hakuna Matata. But here's where it gets even weirder. These weren't just quick chats or friendly suggestions. No, these were secret phone calls, probably filled with more hot air than a Mickey Mouse balloon. Can you imagine being the Disney exec who picked up the phone? Hello, this is the White House calling. We'd like to speak to the manager about one of your employees. Kimmel himself couldn't help but point out how ridiculous this was. He joked that Trump was acting like a Karen. You know, those folks who always want to speak to the manager when their latte isn't exactly 98.6 degrees. Except instead of complaining about coffee, Trump was trying to silence a comedian, because that's totally normal presidential behavior, right? The whole situation spread through Washington faster than gossip at a high school cafeteria. It wasn't just a one-off thing. This was the President of the United States trying to use his power to shut up someone who made fun of him. It's like he forgot about this little thing called the First Amendment. As for Disney's reaction, well, let's just say Mickey wasn't about to play ball with this goofy plan. They basically told the White House to take a long walk off a short pier. In the politest mouse house way possible, of course. But here's the kicker. This whole ridiculous scheme didn't stay secret for long. Nope, it leaked faster than a White House with a plumbing problem. And once the cat was out of the bag, well, that's when things really got interesting. Remember when Trump called himself a very stable genius? Well, it turns out our boy's got the stability of a Jenga tower in an earthquake when it comes to jokes. But here's the million-dollar question. How can a guy who throws punches like confetti cry foul when someone tickles him with a feather? Trump's got a real talent for dishing out insults. He's called disabled reporters losers and even had the gall to label war heroes who were captured losers too. It's like he's playing insult bingo and he's determined to fill every square on the card. But when it comes to taking a joke, oh boy, that's when things get interesting. You see, Trump's skin is so thin you could use it as tracing paper. Remember those SNL skits that poked fun at him? Trump didn't just dislike them, he had full-blown meltdowns. He'd fire off angry tweets faster than you can say "Kavfefe," demanding that the show be canceled. It's like watching a toddler throw a tantrum because someone said his tower of blocks wasn't the tallest ever built. And it's not just SNL. Any comedian who dares to make a Trump joke suddenly finds themselves in the presidential crosshairs. You'd think the leader of the free world would have better things to do than wage war on late night TV. But apparently not. It's like he's got a Google alert set up for his name, just waiting to pounce on anyone who dares to laugh at him. The real kicker? Trump keeps yapping about free speech like he's its biggest fan, but the moment that free speech is used to make fun of him, suddenly it's not so free anymore. It's like he wants the First Amendment to come with a no Trump jokes clause. That's why Jimmy Kimmel came up with the perfect term for our thin-skinned commander-in-chief, blowflake. It's a combo of blowhard and snowflake, and boy, does it fit like a glove. Trump's all puffed up and noisy like a blowhard, but melts faster than a snowflake in summer when anyone criticizes him. Kimmel even suggested Trump should change his campaign hats to say, "Make America whine again." Because let's face it, that's all Trump seems to do these days. Whine about how unfair everyone is to poor little him. So, what happens when a comedian like Kimmel refuses to back down? How does our blowflake in chief respond when his attempts at censorship fail? Well, folks, that's where things get really interesting. Stick around to see how Kimmel claps back at Trump's tantrum. Trust me, it's juicier than a well-done steak with ketchup. Ever wonder what happens when an unstoppable joker meets an immovable ego? Kimmel just answered that question, and spoiler alert, it ain't pretty for old Donnie. When Kimmel found out about Trump's sneaky plan to silence him, he didn't just roll on. I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much.